Hey everybody, VSG Joe here, coming to you with my week 29 VSG update, and also wanted to give some tips as far as measuring success in VSG. So that'll be what I covered today. To start off, I'll give you guys a quick update on my measurement. Still no real material change. I'm still hovering around 214, 215 pounds, and it's getting a little frustrating as far as the scale not moving, but also I think I'm doing okay. I'm not going to get too upset about it. I think I am in a stall. I have cut back. My diet and nutrition has been pretty good. Still some points where I could get better at it, but a lot of the candy, chips, cakes and stuff like that I've done over the last 2 weeks have been gone. This past weekend I did have some chips and stuff, but for the most part I've been doing pretty well and not doing that. Certainly this week I've done well. I haven't had any any of the big carb category, I guess, chips, candies, cakes, stuff like that. So doing well on that. So we're going to keep going. But there's been a lot of talk and recent videos that I've seen from people I follow, and really just people in Facebook groups and stuff like that I've seen, to where we're kind of getting caught up, I think, a bit in this, how do I measure success? And there's a lot of it where they've been comparing themselves to other people. It's like, well, I only lost 3 pounds this month, and this other person I follow, they've lost 10 pounds this month, and just some I don't want to call it nonsense, but I guess some feelings like that, to where I think we all need to kind of take a step back and put some perspective around what we're looking at, or how we're measuring our success there. So I kind of came up with 4 or 5 ways that we'll go into. I had made some notes and had a really thought out video coming, but then left them at home and decided to shoot this in the car. Just one, because I need to get out of the office and take a break. If you didn't notice, I'm in my work clothes. And just 2, I wanted to make sure I got a video up and got my thoughts out there. And life's been crazy, so I'm just basically recording a video any point I can at this time. So that being said, so the first way to kind of measure it is, obviously, there's a scale. I've lost right at 70 pounds since I started this adventure here, and that's a lot of weight in 6 months. It's more weight than I've ever lost in my life, and so I have to look at that as, definitely losing weight is certainly a measurement of how well I'm doing, a measurement of my success. For VSG patients, like I had, or like I am, we're supposed to lose about 65 to 70% of our excess body weight within the first 6 months to a year. So if you're trying to lose 100 pounds, obviously you should lose about 65, 70 pounds, and that's right where I am. And I'm not even at the year post. I'm 29 weeks out, which is basically 6 months in a week or 2, something like that. So certainly it's been successful. I can't say that it hasn't been in that regard, because I have lost a good amount of weight. Do I want to lose more weight? Yeah, I still want to lose, I think, probably 30 pounds. I know I have a targeted goal of about 180 pounds. But really what I'm trying to do is get my body fat percentage down. So that may be 30 pounds, I feel, would get rid of a lot of the still body fat that I have. But it's still, that might be 40 pounds, it might be 20 pounds, somewhere in there. So I'm shooting for about $180, which at 215 pounds is 35 pounds away still. So do I still want to lose? Yes, but let's not use that as the only measurement of success for this surgery and for the change that we're making here. So what would be change number 2? Change number 2 for me would be looking at photos. Side-by-side comparisons as far as photos are crucial. So make sure that you guys are doing that, especially in the beginning. I've had to have my wife send me so many pictures. I see all these Transformation Tuesday photos up on Instagram and stuff like that. VSG Joe on Instagram, by the way, if you're not following me. But essentially is, I see all this up, and it's, I love seeing them, but at the same time, I'm like, I have like 3 photos of me from before, And it's not that I necessarily hid away from photos. I know a lot of us do, but it's just like I was never one to take a lot of photos of myself. So if you're beginning this process and you're looking at it, make sure you're taking photos. Even comparing myself now to just when I started taking photos 6 months ago, there's a huge difference. You know, there's, you know, especially in my face. I saw, you know, and I put a Instagram post up the other day or a little while back, and I was like, Facebook needs to quit reminding me how fat I was. But it was a video of me probably close to my heaviest, and I was with my kids at their Girl Scout troop, and we were sorting out the big pallets of cookies that we do for cookie sales back when my kids were doing Girl Scouts. And I saw it, and at first I thought, wow, that guy is, oh snap, because I was about to call myself fat, and I realized it was me and kind of refrained because I like me and I don't like making fun of me. Well, I do, but not like when it's not being funny. So but yeah, you know, just seeing that and seeing those photos and seeing the difference between that and how I look now in a photo, it's 100%, you know, difference within them. So make sure you're taking photos. Make sure, especially a lot of side-by-side photos. I started lifting weights in January, so it's been about 2 months now, and we've been going to the gym regularly, and like I can notice now in the photos in the side-by-sides the difference in my back and in my arms. Looking at them, just looking at them in the mirror, you know, doing the little flex all of us guys do when we get out of the shower. You know what I'm talking about, guys. Don't act like it's just me. But doing that, you can actually see, I can see outlines of where I might have some muscles at some point in my life. So that was exciting, but it's something I would never know just by looking at the scale, because the scale in the last 2 months hasn't moved, but how my body is shaping up has been. So I would say that's successful as well. We're still going to keep adding to that success, but it's definitely successful. That being said, along those same lines, another way that we can measure that success is by measurements. So take your body measurements. You know, it's something that gets said a lot, but I think not a lot of focus gets paid to it. So I've been taking my measurements, and since I started this, you know, adventure back in July of 2018, I've probably lost about 8 inches off my stomach, so right around my waist. So basically measure through your belly button all the way around. I was about 54 inches. Now I'm down to about 42. And I know that math doesn't make sense, what I just said as far as 8 inches, but there's been some fluctuation in there, and essentially is I didn't record when I actually took that stomach, the highest one that I saw. So the one I took around the time that I actually did it was about 50 inches. So that's what it, you know, the 8 inches. But even if you're looking at 8 to 12 inches in your stomach is huge. If I look at my neck, I've lost about 2.5 inches off my neck. Also, you know, huge. Those are the two areas that if you're carrying a lot of weight in your neck or in your stomach, those are the two indications that lead most to heart disease and risks of heart disease, heart attacks and stuff like that. So bringing that down, I've lost probably 4 inches in my waist. I've gone from from my hips, I guess, where guys wear their pants. But I've lost about 4 inches there. I've gone from a size 42, which probably should have been a 44 to be honest, but comfort fit waistbands means I don't have to go up in number, so suck it, I don't care. But then also I'm down to a 36, 38 pant. So I've lost a ton of inches all over my body as well. And those inches aren't as apparent the last couple months. But I've noticed that my arms are actually growing in inches, which is somewhere, you know, I want to add mass to instead of my stomach that I've been doing for the last 30 something years. So it's getting better there, you know, and I can, like I said, the scale's not moving, but I can see my body type is changing. I noticed my pants, even though they're 38s, they're starting to get loose. 36s are starting to get more comfortable. Why? I don't know. Haven't lost weight, but obviously my body is still changing, still adjusting to the new me. So you got the measurements there. The other thing I would say is just overall health. And this one's a little bit harder to measure, but still you can. So when I first started this journey, I thought I was sleeping well. I probably wasn't. I am sleeping well now. I've never had trouble going to sleep, never had trouble staying asleep, anything like that. But my snoring was just outrageous. My wife couldn't sleep because I snored so bad. Now I don't really snore, and my wife can actually get a full night's sleep, which is great for her. My numbers, I think my last update video, or maybe the one before, they kind of blend together, so I'm sorry guys. But essentially I went over my numbers, and all my numbers for my cholesterol are trending the right direction. My triglycerides are down from almost 400 to 160, so I still got a little bit of work to do on it. But if you would have told me 6 months was all it took to get my cholesterol back in check, get my blood pressure from kind of a normal high range down to a normal range, or even, you know, I wouldn't say it's on the low end, but it's on the low end of the normal range. Things like that. I mean, I can tell these changes have been made, and that's certainly successful, even though the scale may not still be moving right now. You know, all that, you know, blood work, stuff like that, my sleep. I dream a lot more now, which tells me that I'm getting into a more deeper sleep. So that, once again, another way to kind of measure that success and know that you're having, you know, you're having a successful weight loss surgery or weight loss experience. And finally, number 5. So we went through, you know, the scale, we went through body measurements, went through our overall health, and also went through, you know, the pictures, the side-by-sides. So probably the 5th way that I would say is your non-scale victories. Stuff to take stock in. So this past weekend, we had President's Day off. On President's Day, we actually took the kids to a place here called Main Event. So they've got a bunch of different things, arcade games, they've got pool, they've got bowling, laser tag, and they have this thing called gravity ropes. So for those of you who don't know, basically it's a course of ropes over the arena that's there. So over, this one happened to be over the arcades. I'm sure they're laid out differently in other places. But I got into the harness, went up, was doing everything, really had pretty good balance. There was some stuff I still couldn't do, and that was really just a physical limitation of me being comfortable with my balance, versus actually you're not allowed to do it because you're too heavy anymore. Being 70 pounds heavier and getting up into a harness and then getting into these rope courses and stuff like that, even though they're weighted for, you know, 300-pound people, I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have felt comfortable doing it. I wouldn't have been able to stand on the little platforms because my stomach would have been in the way of, you know, knocking me back off the platforms. I would have been worried about that. And being able to do that. Went in and played laser tag. Pwned all the noobs, by the way. No, but, you know, in playing laser tag with the kids. So walking around, crawling, you know, kind of ducking behind things and, you know, all this other stuff. I wouldn't have been able to do that. And to be honest with you, I was thinking about it there, and I forgot to mention this on the way home with the wife and the kids, but I was thinking that I don't know that that harness, the little vest that you wear when you play laser tag that has the little points that you shoot on it, I don't know that it would have clipped being 70 pounds heavier. I mean, having another foot of rope on there, it would have been close, guys. So that was a non-scale victory. Another one, I met a goal already this year and I didn't even try. If you're following me on Instagram, you know that I posted probably a week or two ago now that I was able to actually run a full mile, and run it at, you know, a 5-mile-an-hour pace, or a little better than 5-mile-an-hour pace, as far as I was running between 5 and 5.5 on the treadmill. And, you know, hadn't planned on it, didn't even think, you know, it was one of the things I was going to start on later in the year. And here I just decided I was going to do it, and I did it and ran my mile. Everything was good. Like I said, I'm not a runner. I don't plan on doing marathons or anything like that, but I was able to do it, and it felt good. It felt, you know, it was an accomplishment to get done. There's no way 70 pounds heavier I would have been able to do that. So, you know, that's it. Just some ways that you can kind of measure your success for this VSG. You know, one other thing I want to tell you guys, don't get caught up in comparing yourself to others. How you lose weight will be different. What you can eat will be different. Your body is different than anyone else's body. You know, there's people out there who lose faster than me. There are people out there that lose slower than me. There are some of us that are kind of on the same pace. There are some of us that will hit a plateau 3 months out. There are some of us that will hit a plateau 6 months out. There's some of us that will hit it 1 month out. It's just the way, you know, the nature of the beast. But just remember, as long as you are doing what you're supposed to be doing, don't measure your success by just what that scale says. It is a measurement, but it can't be your only measurement. So try to incorporate some of these other things, you know, look at it a little bit differently, and make sure that you're in the right frame of mind to continue your journey here. So, but that's it, guys. That's all I wanted to say. Make sure you subscribe. If you like the video, hit that like button and leave a comment. Let me know if you have other ways that you measure your own success for your weight loss surgery. And then also, obviously, just follow me, Instagram, Facebook, all the links are below, and I will catch you guys next time. Appreciate you watching.